Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Talk.
Good evening.
Hi, Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Paul.
People will be sitting at home thinking, hang on, Jane was on last week.
Yes. This is a new exciting adventure for me. Paul asked me to be the new host, and so I agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't thank you enough. And it was a brilliant interview last week, and we're so lucky to have you back as a host.
Thank you.
We're also going to be working later as well.
We are.
So shall we get on with the show?
Yes, definitely.
It's good to see everyone coming on. Just let us know you're coming in. Say hello to us. We've got Serena. We've got James, Carol. Hi, guys. Hi, Rhonda. It's good to see you guys. Don't forget to share, because we love the program to get out into the four corners of the world, because we share such brilliant information. We have such fabulous guests that come on, and tonight is no exception. We have the brilliant Robert Goodwin. Now, Robert, he's a trance medium, author, and if I can keep my teeth in to say this, philosopher. It's a bit of a mouthful, philosopher. And Robert has been working for over 43 years. He's worked with many people in his time, but he's also committed his life to working for the SNU and other independent spiritualist churches. But Robert channels, or I shouldn't say trances, his guide White Feather. So without further ado, let's bring Robert in. Good evening, Robert, and welcome.
Hello.
Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Jane, and good evening, everyone. Thanks for inviting me.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming on. It's a real pleasure. We've been a part of our preparation. We always look into what our guests do. And Robert, you've done so much over such a long period of time. You have a vast amount of experience, and I'm really excited to get into the interview and ask you lots of questions.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm going to kick off because trance mediumship. Now, it's an unusual subject, isn't it? It's not for everybody, because it takes such commitment and hard work and dedication to commit yourself to working with spirit. So can you tell us a little bit how you got into trance mediumship, Robert?
Well, I didn't join spiritualism to become a trance medium. It sort of happened by accident, but as you know, accidents can often be the result of intervention by our spirit friends and synchronicity. So what brought me into it actually was healing, because as a young lad, I suffered greatly with my nerves, and I guess I was a hypochondriac, and through circumstances, I'll put it that way, I came to have healing, and this came about through my elderly grandmother, who used to write every week to Harry Edwards, the famous healer. And my mother found out a bit about this, and she mentioned it to a guy that she worked with. My mother used to work in a shoe shop, and she said, "Look, my mom writes to Harry Edwards, because she's been bedridden for years." And they got into this conversation, and to my mother's surprise, her boss turned around and said, "Well, my son's a healer, and he's coming over to this country." Now, his son was, believe it or not, he worked for the mounted police in Canada, and he did healing, he did spiritual healing in his spare time. So he was coming over to the UK on police business, and he was going to call in on my grandmother and give her some healing. So they said to me, my family said to me, "Rob," I mean, I was about, 16 at the time, "Rob, why don't you go round to your grandmother's around the corner and have some healing off this guy that's coming over?" And of course, me being a hypochondriac, I thought, oh, no, he's going to look at me and tell me I've only got 3 weeks to live or something, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did go round. I had healing off this guy. He was a lovely man. And it was unlike anything I've experienced to this very day, because I came out of my body, and I could still feel his hands on my shoulders 3 or 4 days after the session. And I worked at the time as an apprentice in a print shop, and I was telling some of the guys there, and they were laughing at me, listen to Rob, he's still got hands on his shoulders and all this, and they were teasing me.
Yeah.
But I knew from that moment that something had happened, something had changed, and I decided to look into it. And I went to a spiritualist church in Birmingham, and I got interested in it. I started going every Sunday, every week, religiously, as it were. And before long, I was getting a message guaranteed every week from a different medium. They would come and give me a message. And I kept getting this message, you've got to join a circle. You're a medium, And I thought, what are you talking about? I'm not a medium, I've got no desire to do this sort of work. But I was interested in healing.
Yeah.
So I joined the circle on the basis that I would hopefully develop as a healer. But Spirit had got other ideas. And after a few weeks of sitting in the circle, I started to get these feelings of what I can only describe as a warm blanket that sort of came around me. When I say a warm blanket, it was sort of dark and comfortable, and I could only say filled with love, really. And this got stronger and stronger, along with the desire to speak. I had no idea what I would say, what would come through me. It was all a bit of a mystery to me. This went on for, I would say, months, until after about 12 months of sitting in the circle, the one evening, I just couldn't hold it back anymore. And this voice spoke through me. And it wasn't White Feather. It was a guy, a man that said he was a farmer when he was alive. And he gave a few words, nothing, no philosophy, nothing spectacular. But that was the start, because it opened the door for me. And not long after that, White Feather started to link with me. He didn't tell me his name for a couple of years, but he started to link with me, and I started to then go deeper, and start to get philosophy. So that's how I came into it, really, not looking to be a trance medium, not looking to work on the platform, not looking to be, a public figure or work in public, because I was basically a shy person. No desire. I wasn't an outgoing person. I was always sort of an only child, quite withdrawn, really, happy in my own company. But all that was about to change.
Yeah.
So, and that was going back to, when would that be? When I joined the circle, probably around about 1971, 72. I'm showing my age now.
I didn't want to say that.
Yeah. And I sat in that circle for how many years? 7 or 8 years. And I did my first sort of demonstration in 1979.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that demonstration, was that with your guide that you work with now?
It was a normal spiritualist divine service. So opening prayer, address, clairvoyance, closing prayer. The guy that ran the circle, the development circle, who's passed on now, Arthur Phelps, he was a trance medium himself. And when he told me, he said to me the one evening after the service, the circle, he said, "Rob, I'm going to put you on the platform in about 3 weeks' time." And I could have, I wanted the floor to open up, sort of thing. And he said, "I'll come on the platform with you," which he did. And he did the opening prayer. I did the address, and I did the address in trance, which I've always done, always worked in trance, even in a divine service. Yeah. And then I followed up with the clairvoyance. He did the closing prayer. And I never looked back. I never looked back from that day, because it all went, it couldn't have gone better, really. When he started putting my name out at the local churches in the Birmingham Midlands area and a little bit further afield, and it sort of started, it snowballed really from there.
Yeah. So can we just break it down what trance is? Because there'll be a lot of people that will be sitting at home going, okay. Rhonda's put on there, she had to Google what trance meant. So there'll be quite a few people that will tune in that might be put off because they won't understand what it actually means to trance. Could you give us a little breakdown of what it actually means?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, we all go into altered states naturally throughout the day. If you're reading a book, driving a car, watching a movie, or if you're engaged in a conversation, or if you're fixated on anything, you have naturally shifted. Your consciousness has shifted and your brain waves will have changed. You won't be aware of the shift, but it happens naturally. So that's a naturally occurring altered state. Trance is a development on from that, in that it's an altered state, but it's a state that is controlled with the medium's permission by the spirit guide, the spirit helpers. So what I do is I attune my mind. I know that the guides are drawing close. I can sense them there. I can feel them there. And I just allow myself, I guess the word to use would be a surrender. I surrender my normal waking consciousness and allow them to superimpose their mind, their will, their consciousness over mine. Now, if you were to say to me, Rob, how do you do that? How do you attune? I mean, you could ask this question to any medium, let alone a trance medium. I would come back and say, well, I'll tell you how that happens if you tell me how you go to sleep at night, because you can't answer that. You just know that you drift off, and there's a point where you're no longer awake. You're in a sleep state. Yeah. Now, trance isn't a sleep state, but it's an altered state. And there's a point that's reached where my normal consciousness is taken into the background and the guide's consciousness steps in, if you like, and takes control. At what point that happens, I have no idea. I'm not asleep. I'm aware. I can hear sounds. And I can even hear the voice speaking through me, but I have no control over that. And very often people say, well, where do you go to? Well, I don't know. I don't know where I go to. I have no recollection of where I go to. And even when I come back, I've got no recollection of that. And, it's like, almost like when we go to sleep, we might have a dream or the odd nightmare or some kind of experience. But generally, we can't remember where we've been. Even when we wake up, we might get a little glimpse, but we don't really know where our consciousness has been. So that's what a trance state is. It's an altered state that is facilitated and controlled expertly by the guide or the guides that work through me. So I hope that sort of explains it.
It really does. And Rhonda's just put, I don't know if you can see the question, are you aware of what is being said when in trance?
Yes, Rhonda, I am aware, because the guides use my ears, because White Feather will always take questions. I'll come to that later, but he takes questions from members of the public. Yeah. So they use my ears, they use my mouth, they use my hands, like I'm using my hands now to talk. They use my hands as well, but they don't use anything from the waist down. I mean, my wife and I very often have a joke about that, but I won't go into that. But she said I'm useless from the waist down when I'm in trance. So we'll just park that there.
So Robert, I was wondering, do you have control who comes through you if it's not White Feather?
Not really, no. I mean, some trance mediums have 3 or 4 guides that work through them, and the voice changes and the personality and the mannerisms. I've only ever had really White Feather, just the one. Although occasionally, very rarely, there has been someone else that's spoken through me. I know Elaine Thorpe, her guide is Jonathan.
Yeah.
He's the main guide. I don't know whether she has anyone else come through, but because of the intimate relationship, spiritual relationship that's needed for the way that White Feather and the level that he works at, he's the only one that works through me. And you have to realize that just as a medium who's giving clairvoyance, you cannot say to a medium, can I speak to Uncle Fred? Because the medium will say, well, I can't bring Uncle Fred through unless he wants to come through.
Yeah.
So spirit, I mean, you'll agree with this, Paul, won't you? Spirit have the ultimate control of who comes through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you have to trust in the intelligence of spirit, don't you? And that's a part of the surrendering. I've dabbled with trance. I've sat in circle for about 5 years, but I've never gone completely into it. And I take my hat off because there's so much commitment that, that goes into it. Sometimes I used to sit there, but nothing happened at all. I just sit there and wait.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I sat for like 6 or 7 years, and I'm glad I did, because it gave me a good grounding, a good foundation. Because when I work, as I've done for the last sort of, I don't know how many years, at the level I work at, particularly when White Feather is inviting questions, he doesn't know, and I certainly don't know, what sort of questions are going to be asked at what level. And we've played back some of the tapes, or my wife, who sits alongside me when I do this, she'll say, you had White Feather, some really tough questions tonight. And you've got to have not only trust in the guides who speak to you, who speak through you, but you've got to know that they can deal with anything, because they don't know, well, maybe they do know what's going to happen, but, you can get all sorts of questions. Some are very, very light, very simple. Some are very, very deep. And White Feather, his trademark, his hallmark is that he never fails to answer a question. And there's no pause. As soon as the question's asked, the answer is there.
Wow.
Answer's there.
Wow.
And I love him for that, because were I to be in a fully conscious state, I'd be thinking, how am I going to answer this question? I don't know.
I was going to say, off of that, do you ever get anything that you don't agree with?
Occasionally, yeah, occasionally. And of course, you do occasionally get the awkward person in the audience who tries to trip the guide up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, I don't know why, but sometimes I think, well, why have you come if you're going to sit with that attitude? But they will try and trip.
Yeah.
And White Feather, he's got a way of dealing with people. He never loses his temper. He never gets angry. He will often say something like, well, this is the way it is. I'm not going to change the truth for you. You either take it or leave it, leave it with you. This is the way I see it. And I think there's a skill in that, an art in doing that. It's rather like somebody interviewing a politician, on a TV show, Andrew Marr or somebody like that. And, you can see sometimes they're ruffling a few feathers, and you wonder what people are going to say. And for a guide like White Feather to keep cool and keep calm and measured, it's only his experience and his wisdom and knowledge that enables that. Yeah,
absolutely. We've got a question here from Rhonda. Is White Feather from a certain time or once where they a living being?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long ago, but he was a living being. He was a member of the Blackfoot tribe. And funny, really, this is going back about 25, 30 years ago, my wife and I were sitting meditating at home, and he gave us a message, and he said, I want you to go and find this map of America, and he told us where to look on America, and he said that is where you will find the area that I lived in. And he gave us one or two little clues. I can't remember now what it was, but it was accurate. And we found that this particular region of Montana, I think it was where the Blackfoot tribe lived. So he was a Native American Plains Indian.
Yeah.
In fact, he hates me using the word Indian. He'd tell me off if he do. I just said that. It's red man. So yeah. So I mean, we're looking, probably 300 or 400 years ago when he was on the earth. Yeah.
Interesting. We've got a question from Lou as well. Oh, sorry, one from Carol first. What do you see when you're in trance?
What do I see?
Yeah. Do you have
nothing? Absolutely nothing. I could be anywhere. As I say, I don't know where I am. One thing I do get a sense of, which has happened to me on a few occasions, is of this is quite strange, of being up in the far corner of the room, like I'm on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be in a big, church building or a big hall, and to find yourself sort of looking down, even though I cannot open my eyes are shut, so I'm just seeing like darkness. But it's a sense, a spatial feeling that I get, that I'm not in my body, I'm not sitting in the chair. So that's the only thing that I ever sort of see, if you can call it seeing. I would say it's the only thing I sense, is being in a different location. So I don't know if that answers your question, Lou, but whoever it was, sorry. Yeah.
Do you think that's to do with consciousness, though, Robert? As in where you're at in your mind?
Quite possibly.
And that separation from mind and being in consciousness.
Quite possibly. I mean, one of the things that happens when you're developing trance, and I work with people to help them develop trance state, is that when the guide links with you, when they come physically close to you, they come into your energy field, your auric field.
Yeah.
And it's as though your aura expands, because their energy combined with yours, it expands. And you can often feel as though you're out here somewhere, like 3 or 4 foot away from where you would normally be. If your aura is normally around 6 or 8 inches or a foot around your body, when it's expanded, it can be right out here. Yeah. And it may be that effect that I'm feeling. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. Interesting. So I've got another question. Sorry, I'm trying to do the comments and the questions at the same time.
Sorry.
We got a great one from Lou.
Okay.
When you are in trance, does your voice change?
It does change. Not significantly. Not like, again, going back to Elaine Thorpe, who's obviously a female who has a male speaking through her, and there's a distinct change there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a male, and I've got a male voice speaking through me. There is a change, a slight accent. The biggest change is in the diction, in the eloquence, in the phrasing and the words used. That's where the most noticeable change is. But there is a slight change in the style and the tone of the voice. I mean, I've got an obviously Midlands or Birmingham accent, and that seems to largely disappear or be modified to be replaced by White Feather's accent, which isn't what you would normally associate with a Native American red man, but it's still different to mine.
Yeah. Okay. And also Serena, hi Serena, she's put, what is the most memorable moment while in trance? Have you had any really unusual experiences?
That's a good question. I can remember some where White Feathers had to deal with a difficult, I sort of touched on this earlier, had to deal with a difficult person, particularly one that was sort of out to sort of cause trouble. So those sort of stick in my mind. But there's been a number of times where he's brought someone to tears in a nice way, simply by the majestic way that he would speak to them. People don't generally ask personal questions of him, but sometimes he will look at someone when they've asked a question, and this is interesting as well, because it sort of goes back to the previous question, like, what do you see when you're in trance? Well, he will often say through me, let me look into your heart. And I get a feeling with this, I'd forgotten about this actually till now. I get a feeling as though when he says that, I'm going into that person. I'm reaching out, and they could be 3 or 4 rows back. And it's as though he's looking right through them, as though they're transparent. And he will say, this affects you deeply, doesn't it? Whatever your question was about, you've had this, it relates to a personal issue. He knows. And very often they will open up then, and he will just, like he's touched a nerve in a nice way. And very often they'll be moved to tears. And he never leaves them there. He'll always bring a resolution and leave them on a positive note. So those sort of things, you do remember those. And very often people come up to me afterwards, because we normally have a chat, and whatever, and they'll say, that what White Feather said was so beautiful, and because I'm thinking, well, I don't know, I wasn't there. So, but my wife always feeds back to me on the way home. So I feel then we've had a good night and we've done our work, It's a great privilege, Paul, great privilege.
Yeah, in essence, yeah. Is there anything you can do as an individual, though, to help you? Because from my just almost fell off my chair then. From my understanding, it's a blending with spirit, isn't it?
It's a blending, yeah. There's a few things you can do, and there's a few things you should never do. I always say I never touch any alcohol on a day that I'm doing a service or a demonstration. I'm not a big drinker anyway, but like most people, I'll have a glass of wine or a pint or something.
Yeah.
I never mix the spirits. I always try and avoid a heavy meal before a demonstration, have a few glasses of water. And generally, I mean, we were talking earlier before we started this evening about, being on not on edge, but a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive, and that goes with the territory, of being a medium. So you normally get that, but underneath you're trying to be positive and calm, and just know with experience that it's going to be okay. And sometimes if I'm particularly nervous, White Feather will appear to me clairvoyantly, and he'll say, it's going to be okay, you're going to have a good night, and it's sort of, that seems to do the trick. But generally, I think all mediums and all aspiring, whether you're a trance medium or a healer or, any kind of medium, you should try and be the best instrument that you can. Live a good life morally, physically, look after your body, look after your mind. None of us are perfect. We're all here to learn, and we've all got little idiosyncrasies, and we all make mistakes, if you want to call it that. But generally, I think if you can be of the mind that you're a vessel for a higher purpose and try and respect that, I think so. Should all do.
My interpretation of everything, whether it be healing, platform mediumship, we're being overshadowed, we're blending with spirit. And the better the blending, even if we're not sitting in trance, whether we're doing a one-to-one sitting, the better we can blend with our loved ones, with the connection of spirit, the better that they're able to give those messages. They're able to connect with us. But what I was going to say, we do have a responsibility about us as well, because a lot of people work on the mechanics of mediumship or healing rather than themselves. And there was something you said in an interview, Rob, that really I've been looking for the meaning of what it means to be spiritual for a very long time, and I've come across a lot of answers. But I come across an interview you did with a lady in America, and you hit the nail on the head. So can I ask you, what do you think it means to be spiritual?
I forgot what I said now. That was a long time ago.
It was about service.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, service. I mean, one of the greatest guides of all time, Silver Birch, spoke about the coin of service, and service is the key. You can't remove the medium from the process, otherwise there wouldn't be any need for mediums. Spirit need the medium needs spirit and needs to blend with the energy and with the guides. But I think if you can get the ego out of the way, there's going to be a little bit of ego to work in public, but if you can generally get the ego out the way and allow the blending to be, I always think a good blend is sort of 90% spirit and 10% medium. And if you can offer yourself in service to a higher power, a greater power, and then you can do so with love, I think then, you know, you're getting close to how it should be. I've got no time for egos, Paul. I mean, we've all got a little bit of ego, as I said, but generally I haven't got, most people that know me will know I haven't got a lot of time for egos. I think it's a great privilege to serve. That's just my view. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Sorry, Jane, go on.
So, Robert, I was just wondering, do you receive healing through white feather coming through your body? So, as you're channeling him, do you receive something from him?
Occasionally, that's happened. I mean, whenever I need healing, I generally ask a healer or someone who is a medium that acts as an instrument for healing, because the healing comes through them. I normally seek it that way. But I'll give an example which will answer your question. A few years ago, we were invited to do a demonstration in Denmark. So my wife and I flew from Birmingham to Amsterdam and on to Denmark. I was perfectly fine when I got on the plane. When I got off the plane, about 4 hours later, whatever it was, I didn't feel well, and I started to develop this cough. And I really got to the point where, because the demonstration was the following day, I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. I really, because one thing that's important is the voice. You know, you can't be coughing off halfway through a trance. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. I asked Spirit for help. I said, look, can you lift this? Can you take it off me? And without a word of a lie, it wasn't till we were in the hall and I was seated that the coughing stopped. I didn't cough once during an hour and a half demonstration. Soon as I came out of trance, it started again. Now, I very often joke, you know, with people about this, but I've had this on a number of occasions where I've gone to do a demonstration. I've had a heavy cold or a cough or a headache, and they take it off. And I've said to them, why do you give it me back? And White Feather said to me, well, it's your issue. It's not mine. You know, we'll take it off you when we need to. Here it is. You've got to deal with it. And they don't do that out of any vindictiveness, you know, or spite or anything. But I can see the funny side of it. But, you know, that's the way they do it. So they can do it when they need to, you know, for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I heard a story of a really old medium, and I can't for the life of me think of his name. And he was in his 80s, and he'd be riddled with different conditions, bless him. But when he got up to work and demonstrate, it's like the power of spirit took over.
Yeah.
And then when he finished, it's almost like he went back into his body. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, that's similar to what I'm saying, but perhaps, you know, exacerbated a little bit more because of his age and condition. But yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. They do say though that you don't get to retire when you work a life of service. So
you know, you've hit on something there, Paul, because you know, sometimes, you know, I say to my wife, oh, you know, I've been doing this for how many years, getting on 45 years almost, I'd like a rest, and I know it's not going to happen, because as soon as I say that, I get 3 or 4 phone calls. Can you do this? Can you do a reading? Can you do it? And it just goes on, So, as I say, it's a great privilege. It's a great privilege.
And
go on, sorry.
I was like, you've got so much knowledge to impart upon so many people. Can we quickly talk about your website? Is that okay?
Yeah, by all means.
So I'm just going to put it up on screen, guys, so you can share. So if you want to get in contact with Robert, you can see the website. I'm just going to go off screen and kind of navigate. You do a lot of online courses as well. Your podcast, which is really insightful. There's a lot on there. Do check it out, guys. Like you say, you can go on to Alexa. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. For the podcast, you can ask Alexa. Yeah, and it should come up. Just ask Alexa play the Rob Goodwin podcast.
So there's all sorts. On the More, you offer deep peace meditation, know yourself meditation. You're also a well-published author. You've got over 9 books or 10 books. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's 9 or 10 now. There's most of them are white feather books. They're all a lot of them are out of print, in a physical sense. There's still about 3 that's still in print, but they're all available on Kindle.
Okay.
And so there's about 7 white feather, I think, and a couple of my own. But yeah, we've enjoyed doing those over the year, and they're all taken. The white feather ones are all taken from, and they're written verbatim from trance demonstrations, live trance demonstrations that we've done, and a lot of them feature questions and answers on a variety of subjects.
And you do a lot of stuff on development and personal development. There's a lot of stuff here, guys. There's actually somebody demonstrating as well. And so, yeah, please check it out. I'm going to come back on screen. I'm just going to remove that. There we go. I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. So, yeah, it's really quite interesting. You offer so much, and the wealth of experience you bring to the table. Don't retire yet, will you?
I don't think they'll let me retire yet. But Paul, with COVID, a lot of us changed our habits in terms of communicating with people, and with the churches shutting down and venues, not being open to people. A lot of things went online, which proved to be a good, I'll use the pun, medium for communication. And I find in my own case, it's opened up markets. So I won't say market in a monetary sense, but in a communication sense, it's opened up markets like America and Australia, and I can do work with people who I would never have met otherwise. So it's been positive in that respect. And even now we do online trance demonstrations, rather like this, where people can ask questions directly of the guide, and we usually record them, and they go down really well. People enjoy them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So did you want to put up some questions on? There's a couple.
Sure. Yes. Here's Rhonda. Has White Feather ever said why he chose to work with you?
Well, he's got a lovely sense of humor, a very dry sense of humor, and he's been asked this question before. He did say that he and I discussed it before I came here, and he drew the short straw. That's the way he phrased it. He said, "I drew the short straw." In other words, he's got to put up with you working through me. But there's no accident or chance or fate involved with spirit. Everything sort of works according to energies, and they're very, very organized. And I agreed apparently to do this work before I came here. He agreed to work through me. That was the deal. And when I was like the fruit on the tree, when I was ripe, which was about 16 or 17, that's when he started to draw close and link through me. So he and I agreed it basically before I came.
Yeah, Rhonda just put, it sounds like he has the black country humor.
Well, I'm not from the black country, but I live close to the black country. But yeah, he's got a similar humor. People say to me, I've got a dry sense of humor. I think White Feather takes after me for that. So I often wonder whether we we're part of the same soul group, or quite possibly. Yeah. He's got to have a sense of humor to work through me anyway.
So just to kind of change it slightly, Robert, I talked about it being dedication, hard work, etc., trance mediumship, but it's actually very, very rewarding. What could, if someone wanted to come and try trance mediumship, what kind of markers would you look for in someone that would be a natural?
It's a very good question. Humility, to me, is important. Someone that can go quite comfortably into an altered state. Some people, I'll tell you something, Paul, because I'm also a qualified hypnotherapist. That's nothing to do with the mediumship. That I developed, or I learned to do that much later. But there were people on the training course there that were always fidgeting. They couldn't relax. They couldn't shut their eyes for more than 60 seconds, and that's no good for trance. You need to have someone who can let go, who can trust, and who has generally the desire, the right attitude. That's what I'm looking for, and someone that's got potential. And I can usually spot that. I do work with some people, and I do my best with them, but I know from early on that they're not really, they might want to be a trance medium, but they're not. It's not what they're here for, And it's a question of, well, do you tell them, or do you try and work with them for a while and see how it goes? It's a difficult one. But generally, humility, compassion, the desire to let go, and the ability to let go. And I also encourage people as well to use their mind to think, to ask questions of themselves or of spirit, to have a thinking mind. Because one of the things White Feather has always said to people, he often uses the analogy, which is a lovely one. He'll say, give me a tin whistle and I'll play a tune on it. Give me a Stradivarius and I'll play a symphony on it. And what he means by that, and I think Silver Birch used to say something similar, he didn't want an empty vessel. He wanted a vessel that had got something, rather like the ingredients of a cake. Give them the ingredients and they'll put it together. And I'm looking for those ingredients. And if I see those in someone, then I can work with it, and spirit will work with it, and they'll bring it all together.
Yeah. I had an experience in a while ago, and I kind of got blocked with it, but I'm not sure whether that's something I should have been carrying on doing. Everyone keeps telling me I should go into trance. I even had a message at a demonstration the other day, trance work.
Well, if you keep getting the same message, it means you perhaps go into the same crossroads time and time again. And as you know, Paul, spirit will keep chipping away, and I'll keep telling you until you do it. So.
There's Elaine as well. She said, Jonathan said trance. So
yeah. And looking at you, Paul, we've not met before this evening, but looking at you and connecting with you, I would agree with that. I think you've got that capability. I'm not just saying that. I feel that.
Thank you. Because I just need to stop making excuses and get on with it.
Yeah, just get on with it. Just do it.
Absolutely. So your podcast as well, I know I've mentioned it already, it keeps going across, but I have heard some great interviews on there. Guys, check that out as well. Okay, because it's really worth it. It's really important.
And we do put some White Feather things on there as well occasionally. About every 3 or 4 podcasts, if we've done a White Feather demonstration and with questions and answers, we'll put that on there as well. And they usually turn out to be really popular.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I think I've missed a couple of questions. I'm so sorry, guys. Zoe has put, what do you enjoy most about working within trance?
Connecting with people, particularly when we do a live session and White Feather answers questions. And, Paul, you'll probably know this, and maybe Jane as well. When you've done a demonstration afterwards, you can be on a real high, because you've you've had this wonderful energy of love and, you know, coming through you, and you've helped people, you've connected people with people. And when I do a demonstration and I know white feathers got through to them, that's the greatest reward for me, really.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing, it's like I won't say it's like a drug, but it's that sort of euphoria, really.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yes.
Yeah, perfect description. Absolutely. Because I struggle to come down from that. It takes me like half an hour to kind of come down and to relax.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think probably your own adrenaline's working as well, and your whole energy system has been fired up, hasn't it? You know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Carol says, does White Feather ever contact you and tell you he has something he wants to speak about and gets you to record?
Yeah, great question, Carol. He does do that. In fact, he did that about 10 days ago, and we haven't got around to sitting yet to do it because I've been so busy. But I know there's something he wants to talk about. I would say something he wants to get off his chest, put it that way, and we will get around to doing it. So you might say, well, how does he tell you? It's just a feeling, just a knowing in my mind, you know. Sometimes I wake up with it, and I said to my wife the other morning, White Feather's been with me overnight. He wants to talk about something. We've got to sort this, you know. And it's just a question of putting a slot in for it, you know, which we will do. Because I think you ignore spirit at your peril, you know. So.
Yeah, I've got many stories on that.
Yeah.
Rhonda's asked, and I don't know if you can see that one, Jane. Rhonda's asked a great question. And that's a real thing. I know we touched on the subject earlier about not drinking too much alcohol, but before you have a session going to try, do you have a routine, Robbie, you get yourself into before you work? Or
yeah, I normally pace up and down like a nervous wreck. And I know a lot of mediums that do that. Some top names, I can tell you, because of the energy. But seriously, I try, as I said earlier, I avoid a heavy meal. I try and have a few bottles of water, you know, and just generally, I don't know what White Feather's going to say, but I sometimes get a theme or an idea or a feel for what direction he might go in, and I'm sort of feeling a little bit into that, but it's nothing specific. It's nothing, you know. Because White Feather will talk, you know, for a half an hour sometimes without pause, and you know, I have no way of knowing or planning. Neither would I ever want to, rehearsing or anything like that. It's purely spontaneous.
Yeah.
But it's just getting into the zone, if you like. Is that a good word?
Yeah.
Word. I mean, all mediums step into the zone, so it's just getting in that mindset, I think, really.
What about diet? Is that a thing?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into sort of areas of I mean, I would never criticize anyone's diet, but my wife and I are both vegetarians. You know, I know a lot of mediums who aren't, who eat meat, and that's their choice. I don't want to eat meat, not just because of the, you know, the aspects associated with it for health, but from the point of view of a living thing. So that's a personal choice. But other than that, you know, again, common sense tells you, doesn't it, whether you're a medium or not, to avoid junk food, you know, avoid too much excess in anything. I think the key word, Paul, is not just with diet, but with anything. Excess is not a good thing. In behavior, in thought, in action, in word and deed, you know, the middle way perhaps is the way, you know.
I totally agree with that. And it's interesting you say that, because I had I was been told for a long time to not eat meat, and I've now become pescatarian. My partner is vegetarian. Oh no, she's pescatarian, but she's really helped me to get into that. And my mediumship has changed in 6 months.
Well, I was going to say that's amazing, but it is in one way, but I understand why, because your energies are changing. You see, all things, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that point, because all things are not just energy, but that information.
Yes.
Energy is another way of describing information. And if you're taking anything into your body, anything at all into your body, you're taking information into your body that will inform your body at some level. So be careful what you ingest, whether it's food, whether it's medical procedures,
Yes.
anything from pharmaceuticals, or even whether it's other people's rubbish, that they're dumping on you, because all that is information.
Yeah.
And if you're taking in garbage, you're going to get, results of that.
Yeah.
What's that old saying, Paul? There's a thing, isn't there, with computers? It's like rubbish in, rubbish out, something like that.
Yeah.
Put a good program in, and you'll get a good program out.
Yeah. Jane, are you vegetarian, Jane?
I am not. I am actually on an alkaline diet.
Okay.
So I have removed dairy and gluten, and I only eat foods that are right for my blood type.
Ah, okay.
Have you noticed any improvements since you've been doing that?
I have, yes. Yes, it's like my communication with the angels is a lot more vibrant. They want to talk to me more. They have a lot more to say, and I can hear them a lot better.
Ah,
right. That's good.
Yeah,
that is good. Yeah. Candy Casper, Sydney, Hector, Jersey. So I'm not sure if Candy, if you're in Sydney, or where you're based, but she's put amazing. But also, is your connection naturally, just naturally happen?
Yeah, I would say so. But like a lot of things that are natural, there's a learning curve. I mean, walking is natural, but you have to learn to walk. Speech is natural, but you have to learn to speak.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of the two, really.
Yeah. And Candy, again, you'll have to look back, Candy, because we've I know you've just come on. Great interview, Rob. We talked about what it's like to start as a newbie, because Candy's asked that. But also, Carol's got a good question. Can you see that one?
Yes. This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Carol asks, what does White Feather feel about today's world? Is he surprised by anything?
I wouldn't say he was surprised. He's got very strong views on the world and the direction it's going. I mean, I know this can be, controversial for some people. White Feather, actually, I will share this with you. He worked through me once. This is going back a long time. I mean, probably 35 years. And I sat down, do you remember tape recorders?
I do.
Remember cassettes? I put a cassette player, and I knew he wanted to talk through me. And he gave this talk, which lasted for about 45 minutes. And I typed it all up on the old typewriter with the ribbon, right? And I kept this for years, and it was called A Message of Hope. And he told me right back then that the world would change in my lifetime, and that there would be a threat that would involve everyone on the earth. Now, in going back, into the days of the Cold War between the USA and Russia, my thoughts at that time were that there was going to be a nuclear war. I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think there's other things that have come into this. I don't want to open this up too much because of the time and whatever. Maybe that's for another time. But I do think there's a very negative energy that's at work in the world. I mean, you could call it evil. And I think we've got to be aware, because there's a lot of things coming out now that have been hidden. A lot of things coming to the surface.
Yeah.
There's good and bad with this, because a lot of people are waking up and realizing that things aren't as we were told. And so that's a good thing. But, I think there's a difficult time still ahead for us, put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely agree on that one.
Mm.
Just to lighten the load is another great question from Rhonda.
Oh, yes.
Can you see that?
This one?
Yeah.
So does your wife have the gift?
She has a lot of gifts. She has occasionally spoken in trance, but she wouldn't call herself a trance medium. But she's a good healer and she's a good communicator. You know, it's one of those things, and it's a little bit of a bone of contention, really, in that she sometimes feels that she lives under my shadow, and I don't want that. I've never wanted that, and I've always said to her, look, you're a soul, a person in your own right, you know. And I always try and play down myself, my role. I always try and be a humble person. Humility is a big thing, I think. But of course, very often we'll go and do a demonstration, you know, and she always sits by White Feather's side. She always sits next to me, and White Feather refers to her as Sunflower. That was a name he gave her years ago, and it's stuck there. She's known as Sunflower everywhere she goes. But no one ever gives her credit on a poster, on a, you know, you look on a church notice board, Robert Goodwin giving a demonstration of trance, no mention of Amanda. And it's always, you know, it's always rubbed the wrong way with me. And I always think if people are going to stand up there and put themselves out and do that work, they should get the credit for it, you know. And I love her for that. I love her for a lot of reasons, but she's always supported me and stood by me and White Feather, and you know, she deserves all credit and all praise for doing that.
There's a lot to be said for having a supportive partner.
Yeah,
especially in your work. There really is, whether man or woman, whoever is at the front, having that support of somebody else with you, it does count for a lot.
Very true. Very true.
So big shout out to is it Amanda, did you say, Rob?
Amanda, yeah.
Big shout out to Amanda.
Yes.
AKA Sunflower. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's interesting, really, you know, Paul, because when he gave her that name, and going back, we had no idea at the time how big a part, how big a role sunflowers would come to play in the world. And there's a lot of connotations with sunflowers, and particularly with the Native Americans as well. We didn't know that at the time. So he was very, very deliberate in choosing that name. Yeah.
Do you know, we've been going 57 minutes already, Rob.
I can't believe where the time goes.
I know. We'll have to get you back on. But
yeah.
Last week, before you go, there was a couple more questions I want to ask you before you go. We are going to give messages, guys, as well tonight. Jane and I are going to work. So, but Rob, in a minute, I'm going to get you to choose two people, because I forgot last week. I forgot to ask Jane to pick a winner to win a free reading. So in a moment, people that have shared, if you've shared, just let us know, guys. But there is a last question from Laurie.
Yes.
Okay. Laurie. Oh, sorry. We both clicked on
We both did it at the same time. So Laurie says, I would say that the person that is in control is a very important person to a trance medium.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're vital. I mean, White Feather is the control. You know, without White Feather, there would be no, you know, a trance mediumship, you know. And I trust, we spoke about this earlier on, I trust him implicitly. He often says that we may let spirit down, but they will never let us down. And any medium will tell you that spirit will never let them down. If anything comes through that's proven to be incorrect, inevitably it's down to something to do with the medium not receiving it or transmitting it, or some other glitch in the system, but it's never from the spirit guides, because they are 100% reliable. So that's how important they are. Yeah.
Brilliant. Rob, it's been brilliant. Can we ask you to pick two names, please, from people that have shared?
Okay. Well, let's have a look. Rhonda is the one.
Jane, did you want to do Rhonda?
Sure, I can do Rhonda. Yep.
Okay, definitely. Let's have a look as well, because let's have a look.
Oh. Thank you guys that have shared as well. We really appreciate it, because it just, all the information that our lovely guests share, it gets out there and people get to see it, and you know, we try to educate and help inform people
And can we have Serena as well?
Serena, the lovely Serena. Yeah, I'll give Serena. So, guys, if you get in touch with us via Facebook, however you choose to, and we'll get back to you ASAP with some times. Brilliant.
Yes.
So congratulations, guys. So 2 this week. Normally we'll do one where Jane and I will share, but because I've got, as I'm getting older, I'm getting a memory like a goldfish. So, I got excited with Jane on last week, and I completely forgot. And Jane was doing readings all last week. Robert, she was inundated with people asking her messages.
That's wonderful.
So I got a bit carried away. Yeah. So,
right.
Robert, can I ask you what next?
What next? I don't know. There's a few things I'm sort of mulling over in my mind. I keep getting this feeling that I've got to do another book. So whether that'll come to fruition, I don't know. In the interim, we've got an online trance evening coming up on the 18th of, is it the 18th of October? Tuesday the 18th of October.
Yeah.
Which is it's all almost fully subscribed, but there's still a few spaces left on that if anyone is interested. Brilliant. So that should be a good night. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it sounds really good. That sounds really good. So just check out the email address there, guys, as well, to keep up to date with anything Robert is doing. And it's time for us to say goodbye.
Well, I've enjoyed your company, both of you, and I've enjoyed the company of everyone, and the questions have all been great, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the evening, and I'll be happy to come back at some point if you wish me to. I'd love that.
Yeah, we'd love to. Yeah. We'd love to. Thank you, Robert. That's been brilliant.
Okay, you take care.
Take care.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was great. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. I really did. So, guys, it's time for readings. So, please share. So, we're just going to wait a minute to get guys for you to share, just so we can get some more numbers in, because the more energy, the better. I know we've probably given away the readings already too quickly, but if we can encourage you to share, that'd be brilliant. So I'm just going to put the link in because I'm going to go first. I'm going to put the link in the comments box if you can see that. Oh, no, it hasn't worked. Hold on a sec. Let me try one more. Sorry, guys. A bit slow. I'm going to paste. That should be in. Oh, technical stuff. It drives me crazy.
There we go. It's there.
It really does. So we're now going to go to the readings. All we ask is keep on going with the messages. If you believe this is for you, we'd love you to come in. Okay, I'm just going to take that down. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm just going to put that up so people know we're going live and we're doing live readings. And it's always difficult when it's live because we tend to work with, I personally connect with people with the work. Can't see the link. It'll be on, it's on the Spiritual Talk Live on YouTube. It's on Jane's Angel Wing Readings page. It's on Facebook. It should also be on Paul Bannister Medium page, Carol. Okay, so check that out and come on in. Okay, if you believe it's for you. So I'm going to start working and see who comes in and we'll go from there. Okay, straight away I've got a lovely lady coming into my energy because I can feel her as I shift my awareness into the spirit world. I can feel her coming in behind me. I'm very aware. I can't see it on your page. I'm so sorry. It might, if you check out the comments on my page, it should come on. I'll try one more. Try and post it once more. And there we go. I've posted it again. So it'll be on the comments on my page. Okay. So if you flick down the comments on my page or on Jane's page or Spiritual Talk Live, it will come up. Okay. So here we go. So I've got a lovely older lady with me stepping into my energy. And I know she makes me feel that she would have been Nan. She would have been Mum. She would have been Nan. I do believe as well with her energy that, yeah, she makes me, I know she would have been Frau before she passed into the spirit world. She had a good life. She makes me aware that she did have a good life. Also, she's trying to give me the connection to Julie as well, the Julie connection with her. I believe that's either I'm not sure. I know it's family, the Julie connection to her. Okay, Hannah Jackson's just put Julianne Barber. Okay, do you understand this connection? I know she's a grandmother. I know she's been not too long in the spirit world. She makes me aware her passing was fairly recently. I want to say within the last couple of years. Okay. Also, forgive me for saying this. She makes me aware. Okay. There's something about her face and her face being made up for her funeral that someone did the makeup for her funeral as well. But I don't feel she was one for makeup in the later years of her life. No, that was for Link. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. But she keeps giving me the Julie as well that connects to her. I feel this is Nan, Julie, if you understand this. I really feel this is Nan. I know she's mum as well. Also, I'm picking up the name Anthony or Tony that connects to this. Thank you. And okay. Okay, could be for me. Matthew Paul Page. Oh, hi, Matthew. It'd be lovely if you could come in. Forgive me. She's making me aware of a bedroom, and I believe it's a grandchild, and it's completely scattered with toys as well. And you have to tiptoe your way through the toys as well. She's making me aware of this bedroom. All right. She's trying to give me a place name. She's trying to give me a place name that begins with a C. Okay. Oh, and I know she's making me aware that somebody in the family is also a mediumistic. So if that applies to you, Paul, Matt, my partner, being my son's friend. Okay. There's somebody else in the family that's mediumistic, and I believe it could be the child. Julie, if this is for you. I'm just going to keep going. Yes, could church. Yes, could church for you. Potentially. Okay, thank you, Matthew. I'm just going to keep going till we find out. I know this lady had very traditional taste. She wouldn't have liked a curry. She would have liked very traditional English food. I know this is a lady that would have been on this side of the water, not Jane's side in Canada or America. She makes me aware. Thank you. Forgive me for saying this, but she also makes me aware she was ready for her time. Her time was up. She makes me aware of that. Right. Also, she's given me the name John that connects to her as well. The name John. Okay. And I believe that's either brother or brother-in-law. There's a connection here with the name John. Do you understand this as well, Julianne? She keeps making me feel like I want to shake as well, like I've got the shakes as well with her energy. Do you understand this? She's also taken me to April for the birthday and the name David as well she's trying to give me. I want to go around the 12th of April as well. She's making me aware of the 12th. I know there's 2 dates in April she's given me. It's gone quiet, Jane. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's gone quiet. What's going on?
Yeah. It makes you feel like you're talking to yourself sometimes.
Sure
so
does.
If anyone can take this, I'd like you to jump in. It'd be great. I just need you to keep coming with the messages so I can keep building this lovely lady, the contact in. Also, again, I feel that she knows that John. Matt's birthday is the 10th. Okay, 10th of April. Well, she gave me the 12th. And I got the 2 dates. There's another date in April. There's another birthday that she's making me aware of. Who loves the curry sauce as well? Who loves the curry sauce? Somebody was talking about the curry sauce the other day, and I believe it's with chips. It's very random, I know, but she's talking about the curry sauce. I know she wouldn't have eaten the curry sauce. Okay, Julianne, Matthew. Oh, okay, so I've got 2 people going for the 10th. Okay, that's really unusual. Okay. I'm not sure. McDonald's chips. That would make sense. Okay. The name, the place name, there is definitely a C, but I'm not sure if it's a Collingworth or Collingforth. There is this name she's trying to give me. April the 22nd. Matthew can take that. It's not just church, Matthew. It sounds like a Collingworth or Collingsthorpe or Collingsworth. Do you understand this is a place name she's trying to give me? Also, forgive me, she keeps making me have this shake. I kind of feel she would have suffered with the cold a lot. I know she was very frail when she passed into spirit. She's making me aware of that. I know she was a good age when she passed into spirit as well. I'm going to be brave. She's given me the around. There's a number she's given me is 86, and I'm not sure if that's a name or her age or an address. But 86 keeps coming into my mind. They've gone quiet. This is the only thing about going live with people's messages. So if you can come in, guys, that'll be great. Can you see the link, or is the link gone? If not, I'm going to just bring her message through. Just going to get rid of that. I'm going to bring Matt thinking. Okay. So this is for your partner. Okay. So is Matthew your partner, Julianne? So that could be why I'm getting a bit confused. Or is it completely two different people? I'm just going to try and paste it again if you can see it one more time. Sometimes these go really well, Jane, or they can be like people are not sure. I need to keep going with the information.
So Julianne did say yes, that Matt is her partner.
Okay. That makes sense then. So I've got two people. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, better half. Lol. There could be a row in that family tonight. Okay, I'm not going to go there, Matthew. Link is here still. Thanks, Carol. Okay, great. I've just posted it again. If you want to come in, guys, we'd love you to come in.
Yes.
I know she would have been a mum, and she's a proud mum. Also, the name Brian that she's connecting with as well. She's trying to give me the name Brian, and also the surname Wilson. Oh gosh, she just keeps talking at me. I do know this lovely lady would have been a talker. She would have talked when she got going. She would have been a talker. I can feel that really strongly. She keeps giving me this information. That waves, it just keeps coming at me. Okay, I don't want to be cliche as well. I know she would have been knitting, but there's something wrong with her hands. There was a problem with her hands, whether it was arthritic and she couldn't do it as much, but I know she used to knit. My partner. Okay, still not. Okay, I'm going to just give you the message then, because time's cracking on and we want to get as much out as we can, possibly can. I'm going to leave the love, but she's making me aware of this child's bedroom, and I know there's a medium in the family, because she's making me aware of that. And I believe this lovely lady, Paul's put yes, I believe this lovely lady to making you aware of that. I know she's not been gone too long. Okay. Do you know the George as well? She's trying to give me the George. It's in the spirit side. We are doing his bedroom as we speak. Okay, yeah. There's toys everywhere. It's like a bomb pit. She's making me aware of that. But you tip your toe through the toys and you're doing a good job. Okay. Okay. I'll leave her love with you guys. Keep doing the great work with the bedroom. But yeah, I know it's just a case she just wants to touch base and connect with you guys and just wants to be remembered. I know, like I said to you, I actually feel she's been through before as well. So I'll leave that with you guys. You want to have a go, Jane? And
yes, of course.
Messages.
Yes. Okay. So I guess anybody that wants a reading to connect with their angels or spirit guides, that's who I speak with. So anybody that has a question, please ask.
Gosh, if no one takes it, I'm gonna
you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, she has. Julianne's put she has. Facebook user, I don't know who that is. Someone's put hi, Jane.
Hi.
So,
hi, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but hi.
So, guys, if you're watching, let us know if you got a question. Lee has put yes, please.
Okay.
Do you need a question as well, Jane?
I do need a question. So the way that I work is that somebody will ask me a question and then their spirit guides will answer me and I'll tell you the answer.
So Zoe Toombs has put, Jane, the thing I really want in life will it be this month?
As soon as Paul read that, I heard it'll be very close. I don't feel it'll be this.
Oh, I've got to jump then.
Oh, good.
Oh, God.
Awesome.
Wow.
So it will be very close because this month is coming to an end. They're saying they are saying it will be the beginning of next month within that week.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe. And Julianne's put, will my dad be okay?
Could I get your dad's first name, please, Julianne? As I work with names, it's easier for me to connect to his energy once I have his first name. Colin. Oh my gosh. So the reason why I just said that is because earlier today, a Colin popped in, energetically popped in with me, and then popped out. I just heard he made himself known. He made his presence known.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
will your dad be okay? I just heard Spirit put their hands on their hips and said, rightfully so. So yes, he feels very, his guides and his angels are very much strong around him. So he will be more than okay. He feels like he doesn't have a choice but to be more than okay.
Yeah. There's always loads flying in, Jane. You started something now.
Yay!
Yay!
I finally feel useful.
Oh, Rodney's put, I might have to start working this way. Give one word answers. A few answers. Okay. Did I see a spirit of a man yesterday? Rhonda's asked.
Yes, I do feel like you did. He has shown up specifically for you to see him. I don't know, Rhonda, if you are a medium yourself or you work in the spiritual world, or if you have been questioning. I heard questioning the spiritual realm. I don't know if you've been questioning it, but the spirit did show up for you specifically to see him, to give you that confidence and that trust.
Okay, that's awesome. Lee has put, will the big decision be done which can be easily dealt with? Will it all be okay? Please.
Will the big decision be one? Spirit is showing me like scales of the justice, scales, the woman with the blind, I don't know her name. But they're showing me the scales are doing this, and I feel like they are, for the big decision, you're still going to have to weigh pros and cons, but the scales are not dipping really far down and far up. They're just kind of evenly balancing. So I don't feel that the decision you're going to have to make is going to be huge or detrimental. It will come easier.
See, I got resistance with that as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I was picking up resistance as well. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Our Facebook user, I'm sorry, it's coming up as Facebook user. It says, hi, Jane, is there a baby? Forget about the die bit because she said that was a typo. What sex is it, please? Is there a baby?
Oh, gosh.
And what sex is it, please? Can you let us know your name? Because we need a name. I'm sorry, that's because of the privacy.
Yes, I am not very good at picking but hearing names. But is there a baby? Yeah, I will need a name, but is there a baby? I honestly hear there is.
Susan.
I hear that there is. I actually don't even see her question, but what was it? Is there a baby and what's the name?
Yeah. No, sorry guys. Is there a baby and what sex is it?
Oh boy. And I don't mean oh boy as in oh boy. That just fell out. But maybe that's what it is. So I do feel that there is a baby.
I should have written it down because I got a boy.
Yeah, boy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Serena's put, will everything work out for me in the end?
I heard, of course it will. How could you think otherwise?
And Matthew's asked, Jane, my guide, could it be an animal?
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely can.
So the expression power animal, they will take on an animal, this form of an animal as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I'd spirit. Carol's put, does my angel guide have a way they want me to connect easier?
As soon as Paul asked your question, Carol, I heard just listen. Do you hear little bell? Like I hear little bells chiming, like almost like not big church bells, but I don't even know different kinds of bells, but just a little. I don't know. It feels like somebody's ringing an ear, ringing a bell in my ear. So I feel like because Carol, your energy is so soft and lovely, that your guides will communicate with you in the same way as your energy. So the bell is going to, or the chime, sorry, they are saying the chime is going to be very soft and delicate. You might, their spirit's like, I have earbuds in, but it's like you would rub your ears like, oh my gosh, did I hear that sort of thing? So they just want you to listen, to be still and listen, and you're going to hear chimes.
Okay. I'm sorry if I missed you guys. I'll come back to you. Jane, will things be put in place that we need for my child to help us and him?
So Paul read that question. The energy within the question to me feels very faint.
Yeah, something's going on there because I felt really pulled away and disorientated.
Yes.
Difficult.
Yes.
As I read that, I believe you're going through a really difficult situation with that. I know it's an obvious thing what you've just written on there, but that's a really and probably long and protracted thing. That's not going to be an overnight success. I think it's more going to be slowly catching monkey.
I agree. Yes.
I kind of felt being really pulled back on that question.
When I feel things like this that are faint, Spirit has described it to me as it's like the blueprint. Like if Ames was an architecture, the blueprint is Spirit saying it's currently being designed, and if you've put something onto the blueprint, Spirit will take that off because it's not meant to be there. So things can happen. Spirit just said we're gathering the resources for everything to be put into place, but it is going to take time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Liz put, sorry to be cryptic. Rachel Arnold has put, what is the role of the spirit guide in comparison to an angel, please?
So I find that, okay, I can just say for me, because it's really for the whole, spirit guide is there to guide us to where we need to go. Angels, I will ask for angels when I need something. Or if I have a question, for example, I have a dog, and when I do readings, he will start barking. Sometimes, depends who's coming in. And I will ask the angels to please sit with him so he doesn't bark. And he can be full on barking. And as soon as I ask that question, Moose will stop barking. So for me, the guides are to, I hope this is making sense, but the guides are to give you direction, and the angels, I find, are when you are in need of help or assistance or something like that.
Gosh, we've got some big questions coming.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I understand. Ames has put, thank you. Candy's put, does my brother know what's happening on Earth? Of
course he does. Yes, he does. He can see you. He can hear you. He can. This is also like a poll question too, but he can certainly, everything that you're doing, he is fully aware of.
So I always say to people, everybody that has touched our hearts, we have this invisible link. They leave a fingerprint on our heart center, and wherever they are in the world, they can feel us. So think of them in love and they will feel it, vice versa. So, okay. Oh my gosh. Facebook user. Is that you, Susan? I'm not sure. 13th of November, I have something to do, and it will be the first time I've done this. If it goes well, could there be more? If it's not good, I won't be doing it again. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Mind boggles. So it will work or not, please. It is Susan. Thanks, Susan.
13th of November. Will whatever Susan's going to do, will it work?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I think she's definitely, I can feel the anxiety on that.
Yeah, I can too. Like my heart has started to jump up and down. And it's not mine.
Yeah.
When I ask in my mind, will it work? I hear touch and go. So I feel, Susan, whatever it is, that you will, or it is best to get more confidence into what you're going to be doing. They're like, just go all in, and then the outcome will show itself.
Yeah.
My heart is like just up and down, up and down, up and down.
It's
really,
really important to check your grammar as well, guys, on these questions, because it can energetically throw us a little bit. Jane, it can really throw you. Eddie's put, hi Eddie. I recently found clairaudience becoming stronger. It's the one clair that I feel least at ease with. It just feels slightly less natural to hear a spirit voice. Thank you. Okay, is that a question? I kind of guess it can be, because we have this preconception of we hear it externally rather than internally. And there's different types of clairaudience. It's not that straight, simple. So, yeah, I think like, for me, that's about going with it, Eddie. And it's normally clairaudience is the last clair that develops anyway. So you just got to keep going and keep trusting. And like Robert said tonight, surrender to it.
Because they're not going to harm you. The spirit world, for the most part, they're not going to harm you.
Yeah. So, okay, Zoe's put, will everything be okay for me next time and not suffer a heartbreak again?
I'm
biting my lip on this one.
Yeah, I want to bite my lip too,
I know Zoe's story. I read for her recently.
Okay. As soon as you said that, Paul, I felt Zoe's energy buckle, I guess you could say. It's like her head her head went down and she folded within herself as soon as you said that.
She's
very sensitive.
Understandably be fear-struck as well.
Yes. They just showed me spirits like confidence. And it might be a repeated question for everybody, but confidence is really a huge thing once you're dealing with spirit or with people or becoming ourselves, sort of thing. As soon as I said that, Zoe, I saw your head folded down, and this beautiful human being came and lifted your chin up. So yes, I do feel that whoever is going to come in, or whatever the situation is, this person is going to lift your chin up, and spirit saying you're going to see new lights. So it's like you're going to see new colors. If you've seen purple before, but when you look at purple, you'll be like, what color is that? Everything will seem brighter and more, spirit's like more lit up.
Yeah, that's good news.
Yes.
That is good news, Zoe. I think you'll agree. Okay, where are we going here? Oh, we got one from Jamie. We've got last couple of minutes. Will I be able to fall pregnant again?
Of course.
I got that when I was looking at the questions earlier. Yeah. Not any doubt at all. Bang, straight away, without any doubt. Is the illness my sister has genetic?
I heard no.
So did I. Straight away.
Maybe you should answer first. Yeah. No.
I'm sorry. I'm tuning in a little bit.
Perfect. No.
I love the word.
Perfect.
I hear spirit. Yeah, interestingly, I get that in my right, and then but sometimes I find it, Eddie, on one left or right, but not usually both.
I hear spirit in so I'm right-handed, but I'm left side dominant, and which is peculiar. But but I hear spirit in my left ear, which is normal, but when they speak in my right ear, it's not normal. So whatever's going on with the person, I know that when I hear them speak in my right ear, it's not normal. So it has to be.
I'm flicking through these questions now. Sorry, guys, we're running out of time almost. Can you believe it? We've been an hour and a half live. Sending positive hugs to Zoe. Thank you, Serena. Okay. Facebook. Hi, Jane. I have a real challenge tomorrow and the following day. Spirit will be there to support me. Thanks, Susan.
I heard yes. You just have to ask Spirit to come in and support you. So, I like to say to give permission to Spirit to come in and support you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, guys, we're going to have to round it off. We've gone over time. It's been another great interview with Robert this week. We're back this time next week. We're going to be doing readings again. We've got another reading to give away as well. So wherever you are in the world, come and join us. 8 p.m. UK time, GMT. What time is it there, Jane? Because you're in.
I'm in Canada. I live on the West Coast on Vancouver Island, and we start at 12 p.m. Pacific time.
So I think it is. So if you're having your lunch and you want to come in and say hi, we'd love to hear from you guys if you're over in Canada. But thank you everybody for joining us tonight. If you missed tonight, don't forget to check us out on Spiritual Talk Live. Jane, you've now got your YouTube page up and running.
I do. Yes. Yes, it's called Jane Dance Medium.
Okay, brilliant. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. There's lots of past interviews. And we're also doing a new series as well called In Conversation. We've got Dominic Zenden coming up, and he does a lot of auric assessment on people. He was born with the ability to see color. So brilliant, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we'll see you this time next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.